We're live.
Yep.
Season 3, episode 8, first one of 2025. Joe Carbone, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, I know you've got a lot on. It's a Friday night, which means performances galore. But thank you for coming in and giving your time. It's an honor to have you come on.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. It's something that I've always really wanted to do. So it feels good to actually be here, and we'll see how it turns out.
Well, it's real, it's raw, it's stories unlocked. Let's take it back as far as you can remember. A 3-year-old Joe.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up? What do you remember as a little kid in your family, in the Carbone family?
I don't remember much as a little kid, but I just remember. I remember a lot of we were your typical Italian old school family. It was a strict household, but it was a good strict household. And yeah, I just remember my parents just working 24/7.
Okay, whereabouts were you living?
At that time would have been living in Fairfield.
In Fairfield as an Italian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many Italians in Fairfield?
Back then there was a lot.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no. Like back then there was a lot. It's actually the place where when my grandparents first came from Italy, they came straight to Fairfield.
Straight to Fairfield.
Yep, that was the place.
All right, so you say 3-4 years old. What was your dad doing at that time?
So my dad has always been self-employed.
Okay.
Mainly he at that time he was doing remedial massaging.
Okay.
So pretty sure it would have been about that time there that he would have been bringing a lot of his clients home. So that's why I just remember them working all the time, because the clients were always coming home.
There you go. And your mum?
My mum, same thing, working from home. She was a beauty therapist.
Okay. So you guys both cranked it out of the home. That was smart.
Yeah.
That's the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and just run it back. Were your parents born here?
My mum born overseas.
Whereabouts?
In Italy.
Yeah.
And my dad was born here.
Okay, what part of Italy?
In Calabria, in Blati.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your dad, whereabouts in Italy is he from?
Same.
Okay, Calabria, eh?
Yeah.
There you go. All right, so you get to 5 years old. Where'd you go to primary school from? Whereabouts?
Primary school, went to Smithfield. I don't know if we're allowed to do this, but Faye is currently on a super yacht.
Do it. Pick it up. Put it on loudspeaker.
Yeah.
Put it on loudspeaker, whatever goes.
And she's called me 3 times.
She's live. Put her on. I thought that was my phone ring. I was looking out. Up against the... Here we go.
Hey, Faye.
Hey, you know bottle sparklers?
Yep.
Can you FaceTime me?
Yes, I can.
FaceTime to set too. They need to see what's going on.
We need help.
Yes.
Oh,
No, but you're good.
We're live.
Yeah, but we're live right now.
Sorry. With bottle sparklers?
Yes.
Strapped on like that?
Yes, preferably a little bit higher, because the flame is too close to the top. So put the sparkler up higher.
Like this needs to be here.
Correct.
then
Yep.
And then do you light it? You light it on the top, yeah?
Correct.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then because it's in a bottle with alcohol, that's fine?
That's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, so
Just give it a small little test. Sorry, when I say test, when you put it all the way up, just give it a small shake, and if it seems firm, then you're good.
Okay.
Say hi to the camera. They're on the podcast. Say hello. See the camera. We're putting you on.
Say hello.
Okay. So as long as it's high, that's fine.
Correct.
Okay, thanks very much.
No worries.
It's camera time.
Bye.
Bye.
That's the grind. That's the grind.
That's the grind. It's 24/7. It like you
And
know.
we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But we're still
we'll
5
get
years
into
old in
it.
the Carbone
Yeah.
family. Don't forget, we're 5 years old. Where were you going to primary
Yeah.
school?
Primary school, yeah. So primary school went to St. Gertrude's in Smithfield. I don't remember too much of it, but I remember it being, I remember it being a lot of fun because there was a lot of my cousins that went there.
Okay.
You know, like we were there as a pack. You know, so it was yeah, it was fun.
There you go. And in primary school, did you like did you like the academic side? Were you into it? Was it more sport? What was it you kind of doing like little Joe in primary school running around? What's going on?
Could not stand anything got to do with homework, learning, and all that stuff. It was not me. Thought I liked sport at the time. Always was kind of into sports. I was lucky enough that that quite a lot of my soccer teams had a lot of my family members in it. So, you know, like because we had heaps of cousins, you know, like we had a huge family. And thank God my cousins were in the team because I was the worst on that field and I would score a lot of own goals and they couldn't get upset with me because I'm their cousin. So yeah, you know, like I was, you know, like growing up around primary school, not that I didn't fit in anywhere, do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't like that, but I didn't know what to do. I wasn't really good at anything, you know? I was just a small little kid.
Fair enough. Did you in primary school? Did you work at all on the side? Did you help out with anything? Was that a thing?
Yeah, I do remember. I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I would always be doing small little chores for my dad. You know, if it was cleaning, you know, like the front where like his clients will come in and you know he'll pay me like $5 and stuff like that. You know, yeah, you know, like we had our chores.
You know, in the spirit of the whole Italian vibe, upstairs there's a skinny bottle limoncello.
Oh, I haven't had that in a while.
Cello, it's our friend. It's when we do with the Greeks. You know where the alcohol is. We got to have a cello. It's limoncello, skinny bottle. Yeah, it'll just say cello. He's one of our friends. But when we have our Greeks on, we crack an ouzo. Lebanese, we usually just crack the scotch.
Yeah, right.
With the Italian, we have to do a cello. Let's see if he finds it.
Yeah, no, I've not had one of those
That's
in a
the
while.
stash. He's got it. He's
Yeah.
got it. Yes.
There he is.
All right, we'll grab 2 glasses. I must admit, what flavor is that, Tio? Lime cello. There you go.
Cello.
Shout out to cello. Okay, so primary school, side hustle. You had something going on.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, okay, you get to high school. What's going on?
High school. So high school, I never actually went to high school.
Really?
I did distant education is what it's called.
What's that?
So that's where a school, pretty sure, fuck, my memory isn't that good, but pretty sure the school was located in Queensland, I think, and they would send over all the work, and they would send over, you know, like what we need to do, and then we would do the work, then we'll send it back, and then they would mark it. Yeah, so I never
And why is that? Why don't you just go to a normal high school?
So a few different reasons. My father, he never liked the education system.
Why?
He didn't like
lot,
it.
Man, that's a lot. Cheers.
Jeez.
There's like 3 shots in here. Shout out to cello. Let me know. Let me tell you if it's Italian approved.
Yeah, it's good.
Shout out to Dominic.
I like it. Like good old Dommy.
That's it.
Nice.
All right. So why not? Why
Yeah,
not high
so
school?
he didn't like the education system because it was the education system. I don't want to say the wrong thing because I can't exactly remember my father's words. He was really good with his words, but it's basically it's designed to we look at the education system as designed to just train people how to follow a system and work for the man. That's basically what it is.
What's the man?
The man is, like your corporate big CEO people. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what it's for. Well, that's how us Carbone think that's what it's for. And what you're learning in there is it's, like, don't get me wrong, a lot of it's good. A lot of it, like, you need to learn. But there's a lot that's just a waste of time. Like, it's, it just wasn't, he didn't like it. So therefore, we didn't go.
So you stayed home?
We stayed home. Well, no, at that stage, he wasn't working from home. He had his, they had their clinic where my dad will be doing his treatments, my mum will be doing hers, and we were in the, like, back room, like, doing our work.
So, in the back room of the clinics now,
Correct, yeah.
you just sit in a room and then you
Yeah.
have books.
Yeah.
So, what was different between the books to a normal high school to the ones that were being sent from Queensland?
Pretty much the same kind of education. Yes, like pretty much the same, but like for us to get all that work done, it didn't take 6-7 hours. Do you know what I mean? It took us like 4, if that, sometimes. So it gave us a lot more time and freedom in the day to do what we wanted to do. And my dad was always encouraging to, like, do a hobby and to do things. And it was around the time when high school was when I did start to dance. So, sorry, I need another drink. It was around the time when I started to dance, so I could focus on that. I could train more. You know what I mean?
So, okay, the whole dance thing, where'd that come from?
That came from, so that first originally came from I loved acting and I wanted to act.
Is this from a little kid?
This is probably maybe about 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so I loved acting. And I went to drama school, doing my little, theaters and, like the small little plays.
Yep.
And then and then I moved schools, and the school that I ended up moving to,
and just on that, in your primary school, like, into drama, like, how was drama back then? Was that like
I don't remember drama being in primary school. I think it was just high.
in high school?
Yeah.
How was doing that? Was that kind of within the friend group? How was that taken?
Yeah, it was taken pretty, fine. Like I was friends with all of my cousins, so yeah, everyone, no, like I never really got any like negative feedback from it. But yeah, so where I went to drama, they also did dance there, so I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. So I started with hip hop, hated it, but then I found breakdancing.
And how old were you then?
Would have been around 12, maybe getting into 13.
Breakdancing.
Yeah.
All right. Was it like an artist that what was the kind of genre?
What in the dance or in the music or?
Yeah, well, when it came to the breakdancing.
Yeah. So, I just liked it because of the cool tricks. Do you know what I mean? More something that I could show off with. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll just get into that. It was mainly just for fun, like a hobby, like type of thing. And then one of the instructors there, his name was Kamikaze. He's still currently in my team, still currently does shows for me. This guy is a beast. He's 36 and he's still killing the game. And at the time he was on So You Think You Can Dance, so like the hype was all around him. And I was in one of his classes, and we were doing a dance comp, and I won the dance comp, and the winner gets a DVD of this parkour crew doing parkour, and a little like documentary on what parkour is, because back then parkour, like, no one knew like what it is. Like, I had no idea. It was so I won this thing. I was like, okay, thank you. Went home, found it, like I watched it, and then my mind was blown.
So there's a full dance comp to win a DVD.
To win a DVD. Yes. Yes.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so you watched it. What'd you like about it?
I loved it because it was something that you literally only ever see in the Jackie Chan like movies. Do you know what I mean? Just, you know, like running up walls, doing flips. It was just insane. And I don't know, like I was just stuck. I was like, that's sick. I want to do that. You know, like that, you know, like for that day when I watched it, I went outside, I was climbing on my mum's walls, you know, I was jumping over everything and I fell in love with it.
Do you have any videos of that?
Possibly.
All right,
Possibly.
we're gonna need to dig those up.
Yeah.
We're gonna overlay one of these podcasts. I need little Joe jumping in the mum's backyard.
Yeah.
Tell you, let's make that happen. All right, so and how old were you then?
Like around, I think I was younger than 12, 13. Oh no, like around 12 or 13.
It's a high school. High school?
Yeah.
13 is high school, of course. So you got academic stuff 4 hours a day in the back of the clinic.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the day, parkour.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so during this period, like parkour, you're just doing it yourself, then you get your mates in?
Yeah, well, so from there, week later, I went back to my dance teacher, Kamikaze, and I was like, who are these guys? Where are they? And then I learned that he was actually in that parkour crew, and that was just a DVD that he found in his car. And I was like, I want to train with these guys, you know, like I want to go. And then he was like, yeah, like I'll talk to him, you know, like they're all a lot older. They're all, you know, like 16, 17. So yeah, so he ended up coming back. He said, look, he spoke to him, and he pretty much like vouched for me. And he said that, yeah, like I've been invited to go down and train with him, every Friday night, at Fairfield train station. So I was like, mad, awesome, sick. So I told my dad, and he was like, yeah, you know, like I'll take you. He takes me down. So here's the setting. Drive down probably about 7 o'clock at night. It's pitch black. The streets of Fairfield is empty. And there's a bunch of like 6 or 7 guys in hoodies chilling underneath a bridge in Fairfield train station. We pulled up, and I was thinking, there is no way in hell that my dad is gonna let me stay here and train with these thugs. I was like, there's no chance. Like, I was already like, yeah, like it's not happening. We get out of the car. My dad comes. He talks to one of the main guys that was running the crew. His name was Ali Kadim. And they're just chatting away, you know, like my dad was asking questions about, you know, like, what do you guys do here? You know, like just things like that. I'm pretty sure he did ask him, like, do you guys like sell drugs? You know, just like really giving him like a hard time. And then he turns to me, he goes, all right, I'll come back and I'll pick you up later. And I was like, mad, done. So my dad goes, and that was the craziest night of my life. Do you know what I mean? It was the first night that, you know, I was on the streets without any parents or out any, you know, like cousins or anyone, you know, like to like take care of me. And, you know, like these guys were just teaching me things that, you know, like you wouldn't think you could do, you know, like we were jumping over rails, we were, you know, like climbing walls, we were climbing, you know, like barbed wire fences, you know, like there were no rules. And I came out of that session, you know, like blood all over like my hands, dirt from head to toe, and just fell in love with it. I finally found something that I was actually good at because it came so natural. You know, like I did soccer, I did dancing, I did, you know, all those sports, and I was crap. But for some reason, I was good at jumping over stuff.
Dude, you got me excited about parkour. Dude, let's have a session in Parramatta. Me and you.
Done. And funny enough, Parramatta was one of our main spots to like come and train as well.
Whereabouts?
You know where the Roxy nightclub is?
Yep.
That car park like, up there.
Wow.
Cracker spot. I'm pretty sure I still have videos on YouTube. Like training there.
We'll be overlaying that. We'll be over in the Roxy. All right. Okay. So during high school, you working at all?
No, I was never really working. As I started to get a little bit older, maybe it would have been about 13, 14. My dad, he was never the type of father to go outside and kick a soccer ball with me or, like take me anywhere, but he would sit me down and he would teach me how to do his taxes and teach me how to do like accounts. And, I was there paying, the bills of, like water bills and, like just teaching me how to do like all of that. So, I can't remember if he paid me for that or not. Knowing him, I don't think he did. But yeah, no, I was just helping him, like just run his like business, and he was teaching me like the ropes while I was jumping off stuff.
Okay. So I'm not going to even say year 10, 11, 12.
Nah.
During that period, what's going on? Like that kind of...
Yeah, so around
16,
then...
What's going on at 16 years old?
Yeah, so around when we were hitting the 16 mark was when I started to really take the parkour serious. Like we started to do a few little like really small shows for, like little small like council events and stuff like that. We started to, I think that's when we started to really wanting to start teaching classes because we were doing it for quite a few years. I think the crew grew to about 15 of us. And there was a lot of demand for parkour because that was around the time where, I don't know if you guys remember, but a James Bond movie came out and they had a parkour scene in it. And then that's when parkour blew up.
Was this like Die Another Day?
Oh, I can't remember which one it was, but they were in a construction site.
Okay, not Casino Royale. Before that, yeah, Die Another Day.
Oh,
and I'm a
can't
James
remember.
Bond fan, for God's sake.
Yeah, it was one of the first scenes of the movie.
Okay.
And yeah, like they were running around. And after that came out, parkour blew up.
Oh,
like
really?
It blew up. Yeah. That's what put parkour on the map.
Shout out to 007. Okay, so it blows up.
Yeah. So it blows up. I was halfway through about year 9 now, and I told my parents I'm done with doing this schoolwork. I'm done. So my dad was like, "Okay, you can stop, you can leave, but you got to go to TAFE and you got to do something." So I chose to do a personal training course because I'm like, there's no course to go out and teach parkour. That's not a thing. So the next best thing is I'll go teach. I'll go do a personal training course so then we can teach classes. So we're doing that. I think I did the course with a few other guys that was in the crew. And and then we just started doing an open invite to come and train with us. I can't remember if we were charging or not. If we were charging, it was like $5 for like a 3-hour class. And within a matter of weeks, the classes blew up. Like when I say blew up, we were getting about 100 students a class.
What do
coming
you
down.
mean 100 students?
100 students. I'm telling you, I'm gonna put some photos up. I'm like, I'm gonna go back and
That's
find it.
$1,200 a session. Not bad.
Yeah,
2 sessions a day. It's a G.
Like people were eating it up, and these were kids, like they were, like 13, 14, so it's like I wasn't much older than them, and they were eating it up because parkour, it is such a fun exercise to do. If even if you don't want to learn how to do flips, just the way like when you're climbing and when you're when you're rolling around and when you're jumping over stuff, it is such good exercise and the conditioning is so good, but you don't feel like you're working out because it's fun. So yeah, we rain, hail or shine, we were there training every Friday night, and 100 kids. Like I still remember one night it was pouring down rain, you couldn't see like me from you, and 100 kids were there.
Wow.
Like in the rain.
Because when I think of parkour, I think of the Fail Army videos on YouTube.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know what I
everyone
mean?
does. That's what my mum thinks of.
Well, that's probably you guys.
Yeah.
That's probably your
definitely was.
students.
Yes. Well, no. That was even us because like we were self-taught, so we failed a lot. Like there's actually a really good video on YouTube of all our stacks. And I'm the main feature because I'm the one that just went for shit, and I fell. So yeah, like my definitely at the start and even still today, we're self-taught. Like for what we do, there's no courses. There's no, there's no one telling us how to do it. It's, like when I was first doing flips on concrete, I was landing with my legs straight, like I wasn't bending, which I'm suffering for now, but we make the mistakes so then we can teach the kids now how to do it properly.
Wow. Broken bones.
Touch wood.
Wow.
I've never broken, I've never sprained.
Wow.
I've never done nothing. The only injuries that I've really gotten is through breakdancing, funny enough. But parkour, when you're doing parkour, like, yes, like jumping off roofs and doing flips off heights, it seems dangerous, but you're in 100% control. And the way you train in parkour, you don't just jump off a roof. Do you know what I mean? Like you start on a small box, and then you get bigger and bigger and bigger until your body's ready to actually land it. So it's very, very rare that you do get injured bad in parkour because you're in full control.
Do you hear that? Go backflip. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're 18 years old, personal trainer.
Yep.
But also you've got your thing on the side where you're teaching all these kids.
Yeah, so sorry. So now if we hit an 18 years old, that's when I went out to go get a real job.
Okay, and what was that real job?
Real job, I was working for Nunna's Bakehouse.
Nunna's Bakehouse?
Yes.
What place is that?
Wetherill Park.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Lauriston House buys their bread.
Okay.
For their weddings.
Okay.
Yeah, so family business. They're third cousins with us.
Okay.
So I went out to go get a job with them because we were teaching all these classes, but we weren't making money off it. The money was going with the money was going into our team fund for us to go and buy cameras or mats or gear and stuff like that. And I needed to start earning some money some way. So so I was working in the bakery.
Okay. How was working in the bakery?
It was good. I've always been a hard worker, so I didn't mind it. It fit in well with my schedule because I'll start early and then I could go train in the afternoon. And I could just eat fresh bread all day, and for like a wog, I don't think there's anything better.
Surely you had some olive oil around too.
Mate, I had better. I used to get like the tomato sauce and the meatballs.
Oh.
I used to bring it there, put it on the hot bread, and it was game over. Game over.
And then you work it off.
Yeah.
All right, 19, 20 years old, what's going on?
So 1920. So around 19 years old is when I kind of worked out then what I want to do, and that was live shows.
Okay.
In between there, we were teaching classes. Our team leader at the time was very, very heavy into doing films and short films and stuff. So, we're making heaps of films. Our specialty was the fire quarry stuff. I did all of that there. But we end up doing one big show, which one of my main boys, Jimmy James, he's the one that actually got us the show. It wasn't paid, it was for free. But it was for the Australian Hip Hop Championships, and that was to showcase. And we were like, we want to do it. Nervous because, we're showcasing at an event that has the best dance crews in Australia. And we're just a crew that just trains in car parks. So we all knew that we had to come out with something different. Do you know what I mean? We couldn't come out doing a whole hip hop choreo and a bit of breakdance, and we had to come out with some heavy stunts and some heavy, it's kind of like we're throwing each other, we're flipping, we're landing on concrete. There's no, there's no crash mats. There's no, there's none of that. So we worked hard on this show, we'll train 3-4 times a week to do a show that was for free. But we're doing it out of, out of the love of it. And so we went down, it was show day, nervous. Do you know what I mean? It was a massive audience. It was probably in front of, maybe 3,000-4,000 people.
Wow.
We've never done a show in front of that many people, never. and it was actually one of the first shows that my wife at the time she was, sorry, my wife now, my girlfriend at the time.
Oh man, swimming, man.
Like my girlfriend at the time.
Cut.
She came down to come and watch it actually. And we went out on stage. A 7-minute show felt like it went for 3 seconds. So fast, so quick. And we bowed at the end. And we got a standing ovation from dance of people in the industry. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, we're getting a standing ovation from Bob and Jane down the road, from people in the industry. And we were nobodies at this time, but, like nobodies. And, like all these dancers have never seen like a crew do all these crazy flips on concrete, like on like a hard stage.
Yeah.
And there's like, like that was the precise moment when I knew, all right, I was born for the stage. We're going hard with this. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're doing shows. And yeah, I would have been about 18, like at that time.
Wow. And how'd you go in that show?
Killed it, loved it. Absolutely, like felt alive on stage. You know, like to be able to showcase something that we train every day for. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're putting our bodies at risks, like our backs are sore every day. Our, like our feet go numb from landing, like all these flips on hard floor. And to be able to showcase it off and to get the praise for it, that, it was probably one of the most, it was probably one of the biggest highlights of my career, because it was the moment that I knew this is what I'm doing. Like, that's it.
All right. So what happens after that?
So after that, we go back to the drawing board and we're like, this is what we're going to do.
And during that time, were you making $1?
Was I what, sorry?
Were you making $1 during that time, like monetizing? Were you, how were you?
Nah. The only money I was making was from the factory, like doing like the bread. All of the classes and stuff like that, like all the money went to our team leader at the time, like I said, like it went into the team fund. Like Instagram and all of that that wasn't a thing. I think YouTube was just coming up. Facebook was a thing, but like not like, I don't think it was a thing to really make money online back then. But if it was, I didn't know about it. No, like we're doing this for the love of it.
Is that when,
for the passion?
Justice Crew came through the ranks too? Was it that kind of period? Or was that after?
It was around that type of period.
Yeah.
Probably a few years on, because we were in Australia's Got Talent at the same time as Justice Crew.
Go on. So it was around that time too?
It was around that time.
What happened to Australia's Got Talent?
So Australia's Got Talent, we went on there, and
how was that, man? Because we can bring that video up.
I've been on that show 3 times.
Really?
3 times I've been on Australia's Got Talent. And I don't know, the things that I can say about that show, we may get cancelled. So it depends how raw you want me to go.
Tell me, what was the experience? First time, Australia's Got Talent. We're talking about
first
TV.
First time, the experience was awesome. We really went with the direction of our team leader at the time, and like I said, he was really into film and martial arts and fight choreo. So we went out on that stage doing a fight choreo parkour show. Wasn't my preference, but he was our team leader, and he kind of like called the shots at the time. So we ran with it. We got 2 no's and 1 yes. My good old mate Kyle Sanderlands, he voted for us. Love the bloke.
Shout out to Kyle Sanderlands.
Yeah. So we didn't really make it through.
So what happens? 2 no's, 1 yes. You need 2 yeses, or
I'm pretty sure you need 2 yeses.
Okay. Damn it.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't make it through. And it disheartened a lot of the people in the crew. Like a lot of them actually from then on, they didn't want to do shows anymore. They just wanted to do
really?
Yeah. Because
that's a big thing. I mean, you can have another crack, or you can, but that's got to be the pinnacle. Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah. Like it is. And watching how big Justice Crew went as well, because we kind of knew them at the time, like we used to train like in the same area and stuff like that, and still now, like currently right now, like I'm pretty good friends with a few of them, and a few of them still actually do shows with us now. Yeah. So where were we?
We are Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
First
yeah, yeah.
one.
Yeah. So
Disheartened. Some people drop out.
a
You're
lot
about
of
20 years
them.
old, 21. 20.
No. I was still around 18, 19.
Okay, wow.
Like at this point, yeah. You know, like things were moving quick.
Wow.
Yeah. Like we're doing a lot with our time. But yeah. So a lot of the guys, they didn't want to really do shows anymore. But I still had the fire in me. I was like, like we're still doing it. Whoever wants to ride the wave, like we're riding it. Like so we went straight back to the drawing board, and from the Australian Hip Hop Championships and from Australia's Got Talent, that was only maybe a few months apart and two completely different scenarios. And I knew that the whole martial arts thing wasn't going to work. Do you know what I mean? Like that stuff only works good on film when you got the good like camera angles. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't work when you're live on stage. So I worked out that we need to put together the ultimate show. We can't just be a dance crew. We can't just do big flips and acrobatics, because after 15, 20 minutes, that just gets repetitive and like boring. We need a mix of everything. So I had a few guys at the time that were super, super keen to still be doing shows. And that was me, that was Jimmy James, that was Pat, that was Nat, and Johnny. So there was 5 of us. And we were just rehearsing, every second, third day for like 3-4 hours. We had no shows. Like we're just coming up with moves, coming up with tricks. And then we started to, really reach out to the councils and really reach out to, like just different type of communities and say, here's our show. Do you know what I mean? Like we weren't even charging for it. We just wanted to be like on the stage. And it was just doing a lot of those shows and just learning from it was just building the formula on how a show has to be created. And we're starting to get some really good traction with it. When that was happening, then, like quite a few of the members wanted to jump, like back on board. And then, like we had like a solid, like 6-7 of us wanting to do shows.
That would bring you to season 2 of the Australia's Got Talent?
Oh, that's way down the road.
That's way down the road.
That's way down the road.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's a bit of a wait.
Yeah.
Before I forget, what's the 10 plus 12 on your wrist? What's that?
10 plus 12 equals 22. My daughter was born on the 10th of the 12th, 2022.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you want to hear something even crazier?
Yep.
Want to know when my next daughter is due? My next daughter, her due date is the 23rd of the 2nd, 2025.
Wow.
23 plus 2 is 25. I'm telling you, if that happens, my arm is going to be in like an art gallery.
That's it. Gangster. Okay, so 21 years old, 22. What's going on?
So 21, 22, that was around the time when what was I doing?
Post Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah, I think that's when I left the bakery to give this a crack full time. That was the moment that we started to teach a lot more. We'll teach in parkour, we'll teach in a bit of dance classes, we'll teach acrobatics.
And where about to be teaching?
So that was around the time when we set up a good deal with Fairfield Council and the Powerhouse Youth Theatre. And they were giving us a free space for us to teach our classes in and for us to train. So we're finally off the streets and we were in the community centre. And 22, 23. Yeah, and then that was around the time that we were starting to get into doing wedding shows.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was literally, we started off doing the Lebanese weddings and joining in on the Zafers. So I had no idea what a Zafer was. I had no idea why we had 15 boys hitting a drum, but I was like, I'm in, done. So so we're working with a few different of those companies, and we would go in there doing like the acrobatics and the flips and stuff like that before the bride and groom walk in. And from there, like just getting to know people in the industry, I would legit I would make a flyer and I would just hand it out. Like I was very, like there was nothing that was really going to stop us. I was like, that was around the time that I was about to propose to my girlfriend, and I'm like, I need to start making some shit happen. So so
how old were you two?
I was around 22, 23.
Wow.
Yeah. Got married when I was 25.
You had a real one. Look it up.
Done. She was set. She wasn't going nowhere.
She was set. She had Joe.
Yeah. Done.
All right. So you're doing those. You propose. Takes you to about 25.
Yeah. So just before that was when it was the one of like at the time one of the hardest choices of my life. So I was there running the shows. Like our crew was called 9 Lives. Do you know what I mean? We loved this crew. Like this crew was, it was our second family. And the team leader at the time, Ali Kadim, have so much respect for the bloke.
Ali Kadim, was that the guy from the train station?
Yes.
The guy from the Fairfield train station.
Like that's yes. So he was in the hoodie.
All right.
He was the team leader. And like somewhat like also like my mentor as well, like he taught me a lot. And he really wanted the crew to just focus on film, and I really wanted to focus on live shows. And we're having a lot of disagreements, and I was kind of like, why can't we just work on both? He didn't really want to. So I kind of got kicked out of the crew.
Really?
Yeah, got kicked out of the crew. I was in it for 6-7 years. It was my life. It was my family. And my vision didn't in line with his vision, and it was his way or the highway. So he kicked me out. Thank God, and lucky, and like without this here, I probably wouldn't be here right now. But the majority of the crew left as well, and they were like, "We're with you, Joe, all the way." And that's when Dauntless was born. So
that's on the other arm.
That's on the other arm.
Realized.
Yeah. So
wait, what's Dauntless mean?
So Dauntless means like fearless, brave. Because when we're doing our shows and we're doing our stunts, you gotta have balls. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be fearless to be doing it. So we're Dauntless, and that was when we weren't a parkour crew, we weren't a dance crew, we were a movement crew. Like we do all art forms, we move everywhere. So that's why we came up with Dauntless Movement Crew. And like we so from there went hard with the shows. We started to open up our own classes.
And where were your classes? What were you doing?
So we did them at the same community center. Yeah, so 9 Lives was doing theirs and we were doing ours.
So in the same place?
In the same place.
How was that going? How'd that work? Wasn't there a little bit of tension? Like
there was heaps of tension because there were a lot of people that left 9 Lives to start up their own thing while I was in it. A lot of people, and everyone failed within 2-3 months. And it didn't feel good because I still had so much respect for Ali, but we took over 9 Lives within 4 or 5 months. Do you know what I mean? Like we were bigger.
The amount of work you're getting.
The amount of work, the amount of students, the amount of everything, we took over. I can't fully remember, but within 6 months to a year after I left, the 9 Lives died. And 9 Lives was the first parkour crew in Australia, and at the time the biggest. Yeah, and they crumbled sadly, and I'm not saying sarcastically because I love 9 Lives and I love that crew. I just had to do what I had to do. Do you know what I mean? Like when someone's going to kick you out. I'm not going to just fall to the floor.
Okay, so how often would you be getting work, like with Dauntless, during that time?
So classes, we're doing about 15 to 20 a week.
Wow.
Can't fully remember how many students, but maybe, I don't know, like 60, 70 kids. And then shows, I don't know, maybe like one a month. Like it could be a festival, it could be a wedding. Yeah, like around that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still about 25 then?
Yeah. So when I turned 25 was when we left the community center and we opened up our own gym.
Really? Whereabouts was that?
Fairfield. So pretty much my dad's clinic was up the top, and down the bottom used to be like a car parts place, and they were moving out, so I moved right in.
Okay, and how was that? What was that happening between 25 to say 28?
So we only had the gym for a year and a half. So we had the gym, we got it up to like 300 students, and I'm talking 300 loyal fans. It was cranking, like these fans, man, like they'll be wearing our shirts, they'll be coming out to every festival, and it was sick to have. It was sick to have. Regretted, like I do regret it. One of the biggest regrets of shutting that place down, but I shut it down. Yeah, it was only open for about a year and a half.
Why shut it down?
Because I was a one-man show then. I was doing everything. From the like organizing the rosters for the classes, to doing the social media, to the flyers, I was cleaning the warehouse. I was doing everything, to like just rocking up to random like wedding venues saying, "Hey, we do shows, here's our flyer." I was doing everything. And I love teaching. I love inspiring the next like generation, and I love to teach my knowledge, but I hate doing it to some punk ass kid that's just there to hang with his boys. Do you know what I mean? Like, you come to my gym if you want to actually get good, otherwise I don't want to see you. And out of like the 250 to 300 students that we had, man, we maybe had about 20 that were actually there to learn. The rest were just there to show off. And then dealing with parents, like like, have you heard of the show like Dance Mums?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. It's a real thing, like when like parents will just come up to you and say, "Why can't my kid do a handstand yet?" And all I want to say is, because you bring your kid once a week for an hour, he's like he's talking like the whole time, and then by the time you bring him back the following week, he's forgotten everything. He's not going to learn how to do a handstand if he's doing it once a week. It's not going to happen. And I wanted to focus on shows. I was done with all the classes. I just want to focus on our shows. We're lucky enough at that point, that if, like about a year before, we did our pilot for our theater show. And this was a theater show, pretty much about our lives and about Fairfield. And we did the pilot, that went really well. And then we booked an Australian tour. So I was like, stuff this, I'm out, I'm gone. So, that was the year of my wedding. So we had my wedding on my wife's gonna kill me, I think it was the 21st of May, and then we left to go on tour on the 22nd of May.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was the honeymoon.
Yeah.
So with that tour, what was it called again, that tour, sorry?
Jump first, ask later.
Jump first, ask later. So
Yeah.
that was another, that you didn't lead that was another.
Yeah, so that one there was a theater company came up to us and they're like, "We want to do a show about you guys. We want to do a show about parkour." And like how we've turned parkour from the streets of Fairfield to now teaching all these kids, and and then all the shows that we're doing, like they wanted to tell that story. And it was only meant to be just for the small theater in Fairfield. It was never meant to really go anywhere. And we did that there in the Sydney Opera House. When they bought it, then every theater, then I think it was 30, 32 theaters around the country bought it.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
And what was that? It was like a musical, or was that like
No. It was more, it was a dance theater. So pretty much, they're telling our stories and how we started. And then we'll be showing off our tricks. And then, like the show was aimed at the youth to inspire them to pretty much follow their dreams, follow their goals, and to train hard.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and like, may I just add that we won that a couple punks from Fairfield training in car parks beat the Australian Ballet at the Australian Dance Awards for that show.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah.
Hey,
Well,
what's your take on that Aussie lady that did the breakdance for Australia for the Olympics? Truthfully, man. Truthfully.
Truth?
You feel that disrespect?
Look, I'm not going to say I feel disrespect.
Yeah.
But I feel like she's an absolute clown.
Yeah.
And she always has been. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know her. We know her coach. And, it's kind of like they've always taken the piss out of the sport, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. They take it seriously. But their whole approach is, it's like, when you're battling, right? There's kind of two ways to go at it when you're battling. If you're really good and if you got skill, then you throw down and you show it. But if you're not that good, then you choose your character and your flow. And she's always chose her character and her flow. It works for her. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've always given her props. It doesn't work on the main stage for the Olympics. It does not work. And when she got in, we all knew, I think it was about 6 months before or something like that. Like, we knew it was going to be a flop. No one knew it was going to turn into what it did. But, like, there are a lot of people that are, saying, we're not allowed to say bad things about her and, you can't put her down and all that type of stuff. And it's like, I'm not down to put down anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can go out and you can give it a go, but if you're not right for the job, you don't do the job. Because that has just set back breakdancing 20 years. Do you know what I mean? All we've ever wanted is to try get sponsors and to try start doing big battles and big events and, show everybody that it is it is a very high intense art, sport, whatever you want to call it. It's not just it's not just a bunch of kids rolling around on the floor. Like, it is skill, it is talent. All we've wanted to do is showcase that for the last 20 years, and she ruined it in 30 seconds. That's what I think about it.
Hey, you are speaking from the heart, and you're speaking a lot of truth. But I think the truth is 2024, 2025, sensitive.
Sensitive. I'm pretty sure we have to come up with a new word, like, for what it is.
You want to say the new word? Yeah, it's a tough one, because you got social media, you've got a lot going into it. But if I can imagine, I don't know, if I saw the Greek soccer team and they came out and took the piss.
Yeah.
And did some, I don't know, Zimbekiko, and we lost 100-0.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Exactly.
Like,
but why it hurts
hell,
so much, is because there are people out there that love and respect soccer. So if one team comes out, they're not going to come out and say, oh yeah, like the whole sports shit. But because a lot of people don't know exactly what breakdancing is, this was the moment to prove to people.
Yes.
It's fucking annoying. That's what it is.
If there was one person in the country that should have been on that stage, who would it be?
In the female round, in the female category, it would have been who she it's hard for me to say on a few reasons. Number one, I've been out of the scene for like 5-6 years, so I don't fully know who's who in the zoo. Like, I know her because she's been in the scene for years. So I don't know, like, the up-and-comers. And it's like, I know, like, there were a lot of people talking about this person should have been in, this person should have been in. I can't remember the names, to be honest with you.
Fair.
But honestly, I would have rather there was no one repping Australia than to have her repping Australia.
Yeah. Wasn't there trials to get into that? Like, you know what I mean? Isn't there something?
There were trials, yes.
How did she get past the trials?
Because, and this is the best thing and the most annoying thing about breakdancing. it's not like you kick a ball in the goals, you know who won. It is very subjective. It's kind of like, if this person has crazy flow and crazy character, then that judge is going to vote for him. But to the ordinary person, they're like, what are they doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So it's like, it's too hard to judge. And the way she got in, it's kind of like she was battling the right people. And then pretty much it's like she went out to go do, you know, like one of her well-known sets. And like, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure who she was versing, that breakdancer repeated a set. And when you're doing a b-boy comp, you're probably doing, you know, like, it depends on the comp, but about 7 or 8 rounds, and you can't repeat. If you're going to repeat something, then the judges aren't going to count it. So I'm pretty sure she repeated. I'm pretty sure she had a stack. So when you fall, when you have a repeat, then pretty much you know like who's going to win, and that's how. And because I don't think, you know, like there's not like a whole bunch of B girls out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure we're lucky if we've got 10 or 15 in the country that are at a solid level. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I can keep on ranting, but then
it's just about it.
I can keep going because I don't blame her whatsoever. I don't think it's her fault. It's not. Yeah, like, it's not her fault.
All right.
Why she was there.
Let's bring it back. Between 28 and 30 years old, what's going on?
Like, calm me down a bit. Like, let me have a drink because you've got me all like heated up now.
That was a loaded question. I'm going to ask him. It's good stuff though, eh? All right. How old are you now?
32.
Okay, so we're nearly there. So, but Dauntless, 28?
Dauntless, we're coming up to our 10-year anniversary. So 2022, sorry, is when I started Dauntless.
Yes.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah. Yeah, so, well, 10 years ago, I was 22. Yeah, sorry, that. But mind blank there, yeah. Yeah, so 2022 is when Dauntless started.
Between 28 to 30, what's going on?
A whole lot.
COVID. Is it COVID then?
COVID? No, like, not yet. COVID was...
32 now. There wasn't COVID 3 years ago?
Yeah, was it 3 years ago? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much a whole lot went on. You know, like, we're lucky enough to tour Australia with the show. We came back. We're like, this is what we're doing. We got into doing, you know, like back then our show was basically just hip-hop, breakdance, and acrobatics. I wanted to keep on adding to it. So, you know, like, we started to add in fire. So we learned how to fire 12, fire 8, fire breathe. We started to get into doing some circus stunts. We got a lot of waves from the circus community for that. They hated us.
Circus community, tell me about them. Is there a stereotype there?
What type?
When you watch The Simpsons, the circus community, I don't know.
Kinda.
I don't know. Is that right?
Sometimes, yeah, kind of. Yeah, they're very... The circus community is... If you don't train with them, if you're not about their life, and if they can't make money off you, then they don't want you doing their tricks and their stunts and their acts. And
does it get competitive? Like when you guys kind of...
Oh, hell yeah. You know, so because, you know, like we were, you know, like a hip hop crew, parkour crew, doing circus stunts that they would, and we would do it very... We would change it up. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't stand watching shows where it's kind of like they do that big like build up for a trick that goes for 10 seconds where I'm just like, nah, like we're just going to do it. We're going to land it. And then,
Again.
And then we're going to move on to the next.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so we were making their moves look easy in a sense, you know, and they weren't like it, you know, like I got a lot of emails, I got a lot of phone calls from a lot of people in the circus community.
What?
Telling me to stop and telling me that we have no business doing those moves and those tricks. And I'm like, these are, you know, people are doing it around the world. Like, I'm not copying anything. And we will change it up for our style anyway, because we always change it up a bit. And they weren't happy with it, you know? So, yeah. And I just told them a big F you. I'm doing it, you know? Yeah, so our show was getting better and better, and we were really, really finding the formula on what works. And what works is, and I've never actually told this out on public before, so I don't know if we need to.
Go on.
What works is, do not make a boring show. If you are doing a hip hop choreo that goes for 5 minutes, a dancer in the community loves it. They think it's dope. A random person at a wedding is going to get bored. You need to change up the game. Every 30, 40 seconds, you need to change up what's happening on stage. You need to start off with a mad dance choreo. You need to finish with a stunt. You need to go to a breakdancing set. Then you need to go to a duo or acrobatic set. You need to keep the audience on the edge of their seats the entire time so they don't know what is coming next. And when they think that they know what's coming next, then we bring out the balancing chairs and we're balancing on 4 chairs. And then they're like, what the hell is happening? We only see this kind of stuff on, like crazy stages. And then we come out with the fire eating, the fire breathing. And then every single show we do jaws it to the floor because that's the formula that works. Don't bore the crowd. Nobody wants to see, and I'm talking wedding corporate festival. I'm not talking theater. Theater, completely different. Wedding corporate festival, people just want to be entertained. They want you to finish. They want you to get off the stage so they can go back to their like networking and their socializing. That's the formula. And we worked it out. Yeah. And that has been the secret of our success. We've literally had the best show that a lot of people in the industry have tried to copy.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
So it really is a journey.
Yeah.
I feel like when I listen to a song and you have the opening, then it'll go into the verse, and then it'll go to the chorus, back into the journey of a verse, and then there will be a chorus, and then there'll be a bridge.
Exactly.
And then it'll build up.
You got to put them on a journey.
And then it's a journey.
Correct.
It's a story.
It's a story. Yes, exactly right. We're telling a story about cool tricks.
Telling a story. Stories unlocked.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Dauntless. Do you know what I mean? We've been lucky enough to be, like the Sydney Kings hype squad. We've traveled around the world, like the Fiji Showcase. We've done some shows in Singapore. We've gone to Melbourne and Queensland countless times doing, corporate events and festivals. It's been amazing. It's been a great journey. But I knew that, and this is when we're hitting around the 27, 28. I knew I needed to do something more. Do you know what I mean? Like the show that we have, yes, it's great. Yes, it's awesome. But it's only for a selected amount of events.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, not everyone wants a bunch of guys doing flips at their event. So, no, that's not the reason why I opened up the events company. I was about to tell like a massive lie. Actually, it's all come back to me now. Wow. There you go. Sorry, I completely forgot about all of this.
Yeah. I mean, Dauntless, tell us about...
Yeah, well, from there I opened up an events company. And the main reason for that is because we were getting a lot of our work through agents and like resellers and stuff like that.
So what's an events company, like the difference between an events company?
So pretty much we've got Dauntless.
Yeah.
That's the street crew. And then I literally just opened up an events company to make it sound big for clients so they're not booking a street crew. The reason why I had to do that there was because we were getting probably about 80 to 90% of our work through other agents. And I was really sick of it because they would tell me how much we were getting paid. They would tell us, like how to do our show and... we were at their mercy. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like if we wanted a tiny bit of a pay rise because I felt like that our shows were getting better because we were adding in more tricks, we're adding in fire and all that like type of stuff, they would tell us no because we're not professionally trained. And then they wouldn't give us work for 3 weeks to say, like stuff you. like we're gonna tell you like what to do. And at the and that was the point that it's like I'm not gonna let somebody else tell me when and where I can work, like how much food I can put on the table. So I was like, stuff. I opened up my own like events company. And it was literally just for a front, so people aren't hiring a street crew.
Yes.
So we did that. And then from there, like I started
still breakdancing type thing, or
sorry,
still breakdancing and stuff in the events company.
Yeah. So when we first opened it, we literally only had the one show, and that was the mix of the hip hop, acrobatics, fire, circus, and everything else. But it was pretty much only like the one show that we had. And yeah. So then from there, that's when I really put my business hat on, and I was like, things are going good. But we can be doing a whole lot more because there are so many more events out there that people are emailing me saying, hey, can we do like ballerinas? Can we do this? Can we do that? And I'm there saying, no, we can't. But hey, I've got you some fire breathers. And they're like, oh, that's cool, but it's not our vibe. So that's when this is around COVID. This is the COVID time. And just before COVID hit, I was having to think about it. And I'm like, okay, we need to start diversifying ourselves a little bit more. We need to start getting into different types of entertainment. So when I have a client that's going to come to me, I can service it, whatever it is. And then COVID hit. And the world stopped. And especially events stopped. Kind of put that.
What happened? Like, you got bills to pay, of course. You've got
yeah. I was lucky enough at the time that like my living arrangements and like my wife was still working because she's got a like government job, so we were pretty sweet. But like I was working from the age of 13. Do you know what I mean? I was doing this every single day. Like I was living and breathing this shit.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to do. And that's it wasn't the best time, like but we got through it.
So like you entertain, or the people that you would basically entertain, and the rest of it, what would you be doing?
Like pretty much we were still getting together as a crew. And, like they would come down to my house and we'll still be training. We'll have a few drinks, we'll pardon a bit, and then we would wake up and then we'll train. And, like that lasted for like a month or so. And then, like we just stopped training and just kept on partying, like that little bit more. Because, it was kind of like, it almost felt too like, what are we training for? If that makes sense. Like we were just so used to training to then do shows. Like, what are we training for? And at that point, it's kind of like the world was opening up a little bit, but all of like the events and stuff weren't. Like we were the first to be shut down and we were the last to reopen. So we got affected like the longest out of it all. Yeah, and like we just pushed through that first like lockdown.
What did you do for so long?
I should have bought shares like in vodka because we were just downing them that much. I would have made a fortune. Yeah, we were just sitting around just drinking, just and that's something that I've never really done before because I've always been training, working hard. It's like we never really partied hard as a crew. Like we never have. It was the only thing that we kind of could do. Yeah.
Wow. How was that? I mean, COVID was years.
Yeah. Well, this was the first lockdown. We only really went through that for the first lockdown. And oh shit, you know what I mean? Like we felt shit, like we're all starting to lose our abs. I don't think I've ever gotten mine back since then. Like our training obviously went right downhill, but it was at the time it was the juice just to numb the pain of we're not doing what we love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just there, I don't know, to try give us that, I don't know, like just to give us that high of what we felt like on stage. Because what you feel on stage, it's something that you can't explain. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm on,
I don't know what you mean. a performer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
tell me what you mean, man.
When I'm on the mic and I'm there, like a show. Okay, like a show that I remember was the Sydney Swifts, the netball. And I went out on the mic and I said, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. And we had, I don't know, it was like 30, 40,000 people screaming. Like your whole body gets shivers. Yeah, like you feel alive for that second. And it's like you feel it's like this is where I'm meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, thank God I didn't listen to like my uncles and aunties. I went to uni and went to go get like a real job because this is where I feel alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that feeling, it's like a drug because you want it again and you want it more and you want it more and then you want it bigger and you want it better. And to the point that it's kind of like if we've done like a mad show in front of a mad crowd, like sometimes it's kind of like you would go home and you would almost feel like it's done. You almost feel, I don't want to say depressed because I wasn't depressed, but you feel like shit because you're like, an hour ago I had like 30,000 people screaming for me and then now I'm sitting in my backyard. You know what I mean? It's just like, like if I could have it, I would be on stage, like 24/7 on stage. So going to COVID and not feeling that at all, it's like, like you're just freaking just like down in beers and down in shots, like just to try get some feeling again. You know what I mean?
Crazy, man. It makes a lot of sense. It's the adrenaline. I've heard this similar type thing with even like police officers that they're out in the force. They're getting these massive adrenaline hits when things are breaking out, and then there's nothing. And they get it, and there's nothing. Something about the dopamine.
Yeah.
When it's just like extreme and then nothing, extreme and then nothing, and then it can bring out some dark times, dark thoughts.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on. It's eerie from that to that.
Yeah, because it's such a fast switch.
Well, a normal person doesn't know any better. A normal person is always normal. But if
Yeah.
you hit the high,
Yeah.
and then normal,
Yeah.
normal now feels like shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I've always thought about it, it's kind of like the shows that we do is such a small fish to think of like the superstars and all the singers. Like imagine what they feel. And that's why everyone's always shocked why they went, like why they're so, into drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. But it's like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like imagine being like Taylor Swift and you're there in front of hundreds and thousands of people screaming your name. And then you go back to the hotel room. Like you want to feel that high again.
Yeah. It makes sense from a psychological point of view. What goes up must come down.
Exactly.
There you go. So, what do you say? We're gonna get there. I'm gonna pick your brain, but we're on a journey right now. And yeah, you're 28 years old.
Yeah.
The events company, COVID finishes, then what?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So COVID finished, and we went back in full swing because the best thing happened was that weddings were allowed to happen, but no dancing. So everyone needed shows. So we were back in full swing like pretty quick, which was awesome. And
are you like leading? Are you performing? What are you doing?
Yeah. So around this time, I was still doing shows, but I was really like I definitely around this time I took the back seat a bit. Not that I ever wanted to. Like I love being on stage, and it's kind of like even still now I'll go on stage and I'll be on the mic, but I'm not actually doing the actual shows. And I kind of had to take that sacrifice so then I could focus on the business. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm the type of person that I can't focus on I can't focus on two things at once. Now, obviously, when you're running a business, you're focusing on like 20 things, and I can do that. But I can't focus on being a performer and training and then being behind a computer all day trying to book the work. I couldn't do it, and I tried for like a solid 2-3 years, and both were suffering. And the moment that I actually properly chose to hang up the performing like shoes, put on a bit of weight, and focus on the business, that was the moment that as a business we took over. Do you know what I mean? Like we started to book, and that was the year that I'm pretty sure we booked about 350 to 400 events in 1 year because that's what I was focusing on. So yeah,
Wow.
long story short, at this moment, I wasn't performing, no.
There you go. I mean, I know about Excess. We should be getting around that point. But when was
Yeah.
that born?
So Excess was born April 2024, a year ago.
A year ago.
Because I originally started up an events company going back, I can't remember.
Well, it was
but
3 years before.
Yeah.
4 years before, just before COVID.
Yeah. So around that 2019, I started a events company. That was going really, really well. And then I had a split with a business partner where we went through that. He ended up taking the name. So then I started up the XS.
I mean, how does that feel? I mean, you'd done it before with Ali Kadam.
Ali Kadim.
Ali Kadim. Shout out to Ali Kadim.
Yeah.
A couple of shout outs. But how does that feel like when you move on, you kind of just start from ground zero? How does that?
It is the hardest thing because you work so hard as a business owner to build your name and your brand. And you work so hard because you think in your head, I'm putting this hard yard in now. I'm putting in, like the 80-hour weeks. So give it a few years. It's kind of like you can sit back because you've done it. And then to have to redo it, then to redo it again, it's hard. It's hard. And that's what I'm going through now. Like we haven't even hit 1 year of XS. And we're absolutely killing it. Do you know what I mean? Like I set targets for us last year to, like what, like obviously like how many jobs you want to do, what type of like events, and we smashed the targets.
Well, you get the right marketing team.
Well, what do you expect?
No,
but
I mean, last year, tell us about XS. First of all, what's the name?
XS? XS, currently it doesn't mean anything. I wanted to call it Excite with an X, but didn't have anything else. I was like, Excite events, I don't know, like it just wasn't a thing. And the split with the old company, it wasn't a very good one. It was a very ugly one. And I literally had about 2 hours to come up with a name, to buy a name, to pretty much make a website and start calling all our venues and event planners before he did.
Oh my God.
So it was like, we're on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, like at this point, I don't care for the name. Who cares about the name? I just need to get some work cracking because I've got a wife at home. I've got a daughter at home. I've got a mortgage to pay for. And then I've got 30 performers that all chose to stay with me. I had to give them work as quick as possible. Otherwise, they're either going to stop training, they might have went over to him. Like there were so many things. So I was like, I've got to get to work. And I didn't sleep for like 3-4 weeks just because I was working. I was grinding. I was doing whatever it took to get people to come over and to keep the relationships that I had.
That must have been a very, very tough time.
It was tough. It was tough. It was good. It was good because like I never wanted the split to happen. It's the same old thing with me. It's kind of like, I enjoy having partners.
No more splits.
I'm done.
Man.
I'm done with splits. but yeah, I never wanted it to happen. It was just like it just happened and it happened quick.
Yep.
And it's if I had a second to breathe, if I had a second to cry about it, if I had a second to just lag, I would have lost clients. So just straight back to work. And like, like it was the same thing of when I first started by Dauntless. I wasn't thinking. I was just doing what needed to be done. And thank God, eight 8 months later, and we're smashing it.
Yeah. So what is excess today?
Excess today is it's a total. So pretty much, it is not a agency. That's why it's called an events company. It's not an agency, because I don't like agents. Agents are horrible people. Entertainment agents. Excess Events is a company that specializes in all types of events: weddings, festivals, corporates, nightclubs, sporting events, and in every single category of entertainment. So when it comes to your contemporary, classy shows, when it comes to your high energy stunt shows, when it comes to your special effects, when it comes to your photo booths, when it comes to your champagne towers, we do it all, and we do it all in-house. We don't subcontract anywhere. All of our performers are trained in our academy, so we can control the quality of the shows and the performers, and it makes it very easy to customize anything for any client. And that's why we have been popular, and that's why we have grown so quick, because we are the service provider. We're not a booking agent.
You got a controlled operation.
Correct.
You got efficiencies, you've got professionalism, you've got the stability, you've got the certainty, you can move at velocity, you've got the reliability. It's competitive.
It is a very, very competitive industry, because there's not a whole lot of work on for entertainment, and there are a lot of dancers, and there are a lot of companies. And there are a lot of companies that have been around for 20 years that haven't had, so many name changes and so many more, things. And, we've always been in the industry. We've always been the on the outer skirts of it, because I still come from the hip hop dance world, where now that we're going into doing everything, it's like a lot of people in the industry don't like it. Like, a lot of people tell me to stay in my lane. And obviously I'm not the one that choreographs all of the like ballerina shows, the contemporary acts. Obviously I get people in. A massive shout out to Faye. She's really been doing a lot for XS. She has really helped me, she's been grinding with me. She's been, I can't, so many late nights at the studios rehearsing for last minute jobs and making costumes and talking to clients. She's helped me out a lot. And, she's awesome. She's helped me out to really grow this brand to what it is.
Wow. Because really, I mean, that was Faye on the phone. She's on a super yacht. Was it Patron? What is it? Not
for Patron. Yeah,
Patron?
they're for DJ Fisher. Yeah. They're
So realistically, I mean, you rewind just over 10 years ago, you got the Fairfield train station with those boys in the hoodies. And today, you're dancing for Fisher right here.
Yeah.
Right now on a super yacht, and you're not even there. You're actually hanging out with me and make me feel. Fisher's a lot more important than me.
Look, he's all right, but I've got the Ari over here.
You could be on that boat right now.
I could be.
What are you doing?
Look, I could be. I could be, but like when Blank House calls you up and they say we want to do a podcast, you answer that phone call and you say when and where.
That's RE1, Fisher 0. No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, you have. I know you have. I watch your Instagram stories, of course, and I just see you at so many glamorous events. Every single weekend, there's the stuff that I see. Did you go to a super yacht, a super mansion the other day? I saw it. I don't know. It's just nonstop. When I watch your page, I'm like, this crazy. It's like a rock star life.
It is nonstop, and what we show on Instagram is like 50% of what we actually do.
Wow.
Yeah. It's honestly.
But I know, like we opened up our. We love our parties at Waikiki. Every 6 months, we like to make some noise, as we do. and you've always come through with the goods. And yeah, you can have, you know, all the styling of the venue, and you can have the themes. We can get our media backdrops. We can get our lights. We can do all of that. But what I've found is it's the entertainment that makes it.
It's
You want to give someone, they're not gonna remember the flowers. The entertainers.
they go into, and it's the same thing. It's when you leave an event, 9 times out of 10, you don't remember what it looked like. You don't remember where it was. You remember the feeling. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like 10 years down the road, you remember the feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the shows that we do, you know, it's the main part of that like event. No, but especially for weddings and corporate events and parties, it's we build the atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? Like with our guest arrival entertainment and people, and when people arrive to the venue, it's kind of like they get it's something that a lot of people don't see every day. So it's kind of like they're wowed. And that's what it's about. It's about just the second the guests enter the venue, they're in that party atmosphere, and the entertainment really, it breaks that ice. You know, especially, you know, a lot of brides and grooms have told us that they would have their wedding, and, you know, like on one side is the bride side, the left side is the groom side. And it's kind of like they're not really talking to each other, but we go out and we do a show and we break that ice. And they say after our show, then everyone kind of like stands up in the wedding and they start to mingle with everyone because the ice has been broken,
Yep.
the wall's been down.
Yep.
You know, and it's the same thing with everything, you know, like nightclubs, festivals, sporting events, you know, like the entertainment, it's never, you know, like the main focus, but it's the thing that creates the atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
That's amazing, and it's great that, you know, you could have worked a super corporate job, and I'm sure you've got connections and family and the rest of it, and you could have gone down that, but you just backed yourself with the staying in the realm. I mean, it's not exactly breakdancing what you're doing now, but it is in the same thing. Is that door just opened by itself? Legit, that door just opened by itself, dude. Yeah, bro. That was closed. Go check, man. Check those cameras, bro. We've had this place robbed before, man.
Yeah, right.
Go check upstairs, man. Trust me, it happened once. We left the door open. The cleaners at the door. Cleaners upstairs, and someone comes through and goes to the whole thing. There's cameras and the rest of it. Guy got caught in the rest of it.
Right.
I'm ready for you, Tio. Welcome to Parramatta, Joe. Hey, it happened. The cleaners are upstairs, right? This guy walks in. This is all on camera. Obviously, there's fully surveillance here.
Yeah.
The guy looks around, and he went, "You're all good? All right. All right. We'll live another day."
What?
I was telling the story when the cleaners were here, and then the cleaners actually fought the guy.
Oh,
It was like
really?
a 7-year-old Chinese lady that I saw it all on camera,
Wow.
and she put up a fight. Yeah, she put up a fight, and ever since then, she sticks with me across all the
Yeah,
offices.
100%.
I'm like, she's my OG. You fought for me. You fought for me.
Love that.
Anyway, shout out to the cleaner. So Hey.
Can we please put her like tag right here, like Instagram tag?
if I don't know if she's I think she's off the radar. Now, so if there was one thing that you could tell a 10-year-old Joe, one thing, what would it be?
10-year-old Joe. It would be telling the business owner Joe to when you're given any information from from staff or a client or whatever it is to sit back and assess the information first. Don't react straight away, whether it's positive or negative. You know, like if something bad has happened at a show or a client or a staff member, don't just react straight away. Just sit back, hold a second, talk to whoever was part of it, and then make up your mind on what you're going to do with it. And if it's something positive, it's don't get excited straight away that, you know, like we've just booked this crazy deal. You know, like sit back, assess the situation, and work out, is this the right deal? Is it too good to be true? Is it someone trying to just use me for some reason? I've got to read between the lines, because that's something that in my business career, I haven't just sat back and assessed things. I've kind of like just jumped, you know, like, and it's kind of like, I've kind of like just moved to the next thing. I've just gotten excited about something that wasn't really happening. I would get upset with someone, but that wasn't the actual story and all that type of stuff. It's just sit back and assess would be what I would tell him.
Fair enough. You get that. I think you get that with time. The more people sting you, the more people basically get all the tricks. But it's one of those things like fool me once,
Yeah.
type thing.
Yeah.
Now, this can be off limits. This buzzing sound, man. This can be off limits, and you can just shut it down straight away. But I've my Instagram feed has blown up. My Facebook thing blown up with this scandal in the performing world. Is that something like a 1% happens, or is this a real thing?
The scandal with the full-time schools and and in the like dance world.
Yeah.
It's
what's going on? I mean, I'm guessing. And for context, what happened?
So, I'm only like a third party in this situation. Like, I'm not in that world.
Yeah.
You know, so I
What's the allegations?
The allegations is basically dance teachers or dancers or agents or all that type of stuff, people with the authority over younger dancers are taking them for a ride, and they're grooming them, and they're getting them to do things that necessarily they shouldn't be doing, to tell them, if you do this, we'll give you work in the future. And things like that. And it's been out that it's been happening for years, you know, like since the dance world started, it's been happening. But it's really coming out now. And it's really making waves. And especially social media, it was like there was a few days that it's like every single dancer in the scene was posting about it, but they weren't mentioning names.
Like the one incident, or themselves like having experiences.
Both. Usually about what happened and like what's come out, but yeah, it's a big thing, and it shouldn't be happening because you know, like quite a few of these girls are only 17. And the things that their dance teacher is making them do, because then they'll say, when you turn 18, I'll put you on this big tour that never happens.
And even if it did happen.
Exactly. And the sad thing is, sad thing is, I've spoken to quite a lot of dancers. They said that, you know, like these teachers have made them do really uncomfortable things. And like they get that shit feeling that it's kind of like, you know, like they feel worthless and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But
trauma.
Yeah. But some of these girls have said that for a chance to go do an overseas contract, they would do it again. That's how bad they want these big touring shows. And I'm like, it's it's like they're being brainwashed that they almost have to just do whatever these dance teachers say for them to be able to work in the industry.
Mm.
And they're like, yes, I feel shit about it. I feel uncomfortable. I feel unsafe. If I got to do it, I got to do it. And as a father who, my daughter literally just did her first dance class the other day, and me, you know, like, would love for her to be in this industry, to hear shit like this. It's like it makes you sick. It makes you you know, like, it's just horrible. It's just absolutely horrible.
Yeah. What do you see it? What would you like to see happening?
I would want what's happening to properly come out and have a proper investigation with the police, and anyone that has done anything wrong, and obviously everyone knows what's wrong and what's right, is they should be charged. And what I think is worse, because what has happened, and I've heard multiple people say this about multiple like dancers, is when it happens to a girl, she will then go to another dancer and tell another dance teacher and tell them what happened, and tell them, like, what do I do now? And what does that dance teacher say to them? She says to her, look, don't tell anyone, because if this gets out, then you're going to be banned from the industry. And I'm like, it is just so corrupt, this whole commercial dance scene. It is insane. It is insane. So what do I want to see happen? The people who obviously deserve to go to jail should be going to fucking jail.
Mm.
And anyone who has tried to keep it hush should have their working with children's check taken right off them.
Yeah.
Because you're there to take care of those dancers. And that's not taking care of them. So working children's check right off them. So therefore they can't teach anymore. And just start from scratch.
How do you cut that out? Like, what are you supposed to do? There's supposed to be like mandatory posters in a dance class where it's like helpline 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. It's pretty much.
It's got to be like.
It's gonna be hard, but they've got to just filter out all the cancer people, as I like to call them. Filter them out, get rid of them, and almost start from scratch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if they don't do it, like, I read something somewhere, or maybe I saw it on a TV show or something. I don't know, I can't remember. But apparently, when things like this happen to you when you're a kid, you're very it's a high chance of you doing it to someone else when you get older.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So it's got to stop. Otherwise, it's going to keep on going.
Yeah. No, it's definitely sick.
Yeah.
There you go. It's
and it's kind of like, I don't want it to ruin our industry.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, Raygun has already done a good job at ruining it. We don't need this to be, it's kind of like something else to ruin it. That its parents don't feel comfortable taking their kids to dance classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, when it comes to the dance world, when it comes to the performing world, etc., this whole business of sex appeal having weight to be catapulted into being a successful performer. How do you feel that works in the commercial space?
The commercial space, it's a big thing. And it's not just for the girls, it's for the guys as well. That, clients want girls and guys to be looking a certain way. They want them looking thin, fit. Like, they don't want them looking like a stick anymore. Like, I remember years ago, they wanted the girls to be really, really skinny. Now it's kind of like, it's coming in now that they want the girls to look fit. But yeah, like, definitely look, height, weight, hair color, all that stuff. It does matter in the industry. And I'm not saying that I love it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am here to give the clients what they want. But that's why in 95% of the work that I do, it's all about specialty skills and stunts. And that's when clients can't really pick and choose what they want, if that makes sense, in the performer. And in that world, a lot of people don't fully care what the girl looks like because you're hiring them for their skill and their talent. In the modeling world and in that straight dance world, yes, it's a thing, and yeah, it's just what it is and what it always has been.
Yeah. There you go. It's where do you see the dance world or the performing world in 10 years from now?
It's a very interesting question. The performing world, that's such a broad world. Like, are we talking weddings? Are we talking festivals? Are we talking theater?
Corporate weddings.
Corporate weddings.
Is it just going to be Zaffi on the drums? What's it going to be?
Well, that depends on the cost of living, because I've definitely noticed this year that weddings and even some corporates, they're not spending the way they were. Do you know what I mean? Like, when groceries, your mortgage costs what it costs, plus put on all the venues, all the flower, all the wedding planners, all those people, they've upped their price. So people are cutting down, and sometimes they cut out on the entertainment. So in terms of the weddings and the corporates, we're not working nowhere near as much. So if it keeps going the way it's going, it's not going to be there's not going to be that much work in that field, and that's why I have always focused on performing in every sector: your weddings, your festivals, your corporates, your nightclubs, your sporting events. Because it's like, if the weddings are down, we're going here. If that's down, we're going there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now you gotta broaden your scope.
Yeah.
And you have a duty of care to keep the girls that you have employed. It's not just the girls; it's their partners. They have future families.
Correct.
And it extends. I mean, you're doing something great, giving workouts in the right form to all the team members that you do. It's an honourable thing. It's beyond yourself. It's not just about taking care of Joe.
Yeah,
you have a duty of care, and it's
Correct.
From the boy that had a crack and got dropped off at Fairfield train station once again with 6 to 8 boys in hoodie. It was dark. It was pitch black. You were nervous. You didn't want to get out, and you had a crack. You were dauntless. You were fearless about it. You followed your passion all the way through. You had adversity on multiple occasions where everything that you built and put your hard work into, that all fell from pieces. You dusted yourself off. You started again on multiple occasions. You weren't expected to do that. Normal people wouldn't have done that. And you pushed through the adversity, and you've created something absolutely great. Even in the space of under one short year. And I am excited to see where Excess Events takes you, with all of the team members alongside with you, the journey that you're paving. I know the things that you've cooked in the background. You've got a lot of international stuff going on.
Yeah.
You've been very humble about everything. I know what you got going on, and it's absolutely insane. It's you are an industry leader in what you do. And I say we run this podcast back in about 10 years' time and see maybe you're not just performing with Fisher.
Yeah.
with Beyonce.
Yeah, done.
Joe, what do you say when we in Greece we say yamas?
Yamas.
What do we say in Italian when you cheers?
I don't know.
What is it again? I should know this. I should really know this. Let's just say yamas.
Yamas.
That means for us. Enjoy. It's a good health.